Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Well, as mentioned by banking analyst John Cronin on the show last month, the Irish banking industry has been the subject of significant change, with the influx of international digital and neobanks into the Irish market being at the forefront of this evolution. One such bank, which has recently announced that it will be creating more jobs in Ireland, is the Dutch entity bunq. bunq witnessed a tenfold increase in Irish users last year, and that number has further tripled in 2024, which equates to an average of 1 million more euros deposited with bunq per day since the start of this year. Joining me on the phone now to discuss bunq and the traction which it has already gained in the Irish market is its Chief of Staff, Bianca Zwart. Bianca, before we discuss bunq's growth in the Irish market, provide us with an insight into your career and your role as Chief of Staff with the bank.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Carl. Happy to do so. So I'm Bianca Zwart. I'm Chief of Staff to the founder and CEO of bunq, the largest neobank in Europe. I joined bunq shortly after its launch in 2016. And I think I'm a great example of how fast you can grow here if you're willing to put in the work. I started in support. I believe I was 25 at the time, moved up to become head of PR, and then took a break for a couple of years to build and run my own business. And 2 years ago, I returned to bunq as Chief of Staff to our founder and CEO, Ali. So in my current role, you could see me as Ali's co-pilot, helping steer bunq as we take our mission global. And for those who are unfamiliar with that vision, when we launched in 2015, we set out to build the first user-centric bank, and we really see this laser focus on our users' needs as the only way in which we can be successful. And so far, that approach has paid off. We're live in over 30 European markets and making life easy for millions of users every single day.
And how is bunq funded?
That's actually a great question, because that's what set us apart from other channels in the market. Over the last years, we decided to remain fully independent. So we've been completely self-funded for nearly a decade by our founder and CEO, Ali, until we really were happy with the product that we built, right? We thought we first want to manage to build a product that people truly love to use, get the basics in order before we started scaling. So we got to that point. Now we're still mainly self-funded, but also are backed by Pollen Street Capital.
Now, I was joined on the programme a number of weeks ago by a leading banking analyst who claimed that because the Irish pillar banks have such deposits within their reach, that it's very difficult for neo and indeed digital banks to come in and compete with them in the short to medium term. How would you respond to that?
I think there's many different ways to answer that question. First of all, I think it is not our goal to build the next big bank, right? So when we started bunq, we looked at not just building an amazing product, but also looking at how we can bring more diversity to the market, how we can make sure there's more to choose for people. And I think what is amazing to see in the Irish market, but also in other markets that we're active in, that over these last years, finally people have something to choose. There are many players out there gaining traction that are showing them that they can have a far greater experience. And it's not about getting all the traction from the big banks. It's showing that there's diversity and that the user is back in the driver's seat so they can choose what fits their needs. And I'm really happy to see we're moving in that direction.
So what services can Irish customers avail of through bunq today?
What we do, we make life easy for users, starting from the way they spend, save, and invest. So we've designed our product specifically for digital nomads and anyone embracing an international lifestyle. So by doing that, we look at various phases of life that they go through, whether it's moving abroad and needing a bank account, starting a business, or opening a joint account with a partner. And we build an experience around that. So we do that for both individuals as well as businesses. There's a lot of ways in which we make their life easy, but we've noticed that our Irish users really appreciate a few things in particular. So they love our travel features, like no foreign exchange rate fees, or opening bank accounts in different currencies. So really banking like a local wherever they go. And we've seen that the Irish love our savings rates too. So as a truly user-centric tech company, we pass on as much benefit as we can on the savings side to our users. So right now our savings rates are nearly 10 times higher than the traditional banks, paid out weekly so they can grow their savings even faster.
And what value of deposits have you grown the Irish bank to date?
So when we look at growth, we focus on metrics that matter to us. So like how much our users enjoy using the app and the value that it brings to their daily lives. So Ireland is now our third highest deposit holding country in our markets, and we've seen a tenfold increase in active users last year, and in 2024 that number tripled.
Is it likely that bunq will be providing mortgages in the Irish market at some stage?
That depends on our users' wants and needs. I think partly of the reason that we got where we got is our ability to focus. So we first want to do something really well, and then we move on. If it turns out that the Irish users are indeed in need of mortgages, or if we can make their lives easy with mortgages, then we will expand into that. As an example, a couple of weeks ago, it's not mortgages, but we did launch a new product. We're now rolling it out across core markets. It's coming to Ireland soon. It's stocks. So in our contact with our users, we found out that our users would love to invest, but they simply don't know how. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to introduce a way to invest that's so easy, anyone can do it. So 2 weeks ago, we implemented stocks. It basically simplifies investment for beginners. So it gives them the ability to invest in the most popular US and EU public companies, and also straightforward ETFs. So we're getting very positive feedback now. We might explore further in other products if we see fit.
What's the approach taken by the Irish Central Bank to regulating digital banks?
For me, it's key to remember that innovation always starts from the need to make things better, right? That's why we keep our users at the heart of the conversations, also with the regulator, always asking ourselves, what are the regulations really trying to achieve, rather than just following the rules without truly understanding them. So we owe it to our users, both the regulators as well as any player in the market, to keep them safe, but also to simplify processes when they're perhaps not in their best interest. We've got a great relationship with the regulators. In fact, we are the biggest source for industry-wide improvements, also in our contact with the Dutch regulator, especially in how the new technology can enhance user experiences and keep them safer.
And bunq recently announced a new partnership with MasterCard. What will this partnership mean for customers?
So we indeed announced a partnership with MasterCard, and with doing that, we became the first in Europe to leverage AI in open banking. So thanks to MasterCard's open banking platform, we can give our users a full overview of their finances and let them add accounts from any bank account to their bunq app. So you will see your account in bunq, but you also see accounts that you may hold elsewhere. So the super cool part of it is open banking works with Fin, which is our personal AI money assistant. And I think that requires a bit of context. So last year we launched Fin, our generative AI platform, to the public. One of its applications is a generative AI chatbot within the app that you can chat with. So you can ask Fin anything. For example, what's my favorite restaurant? What do I spend most of my money on? And in my case, those two are usually highly correlated. And Fin will give you answers to that. Fin is designed to answer advanced questions and give you insights into your spending in just a second. And now it comes together. So our large language model seamlessly integrates with open banking. This means that Fin can now find your transactions from external banks just as easy as it handles transactions from bunq. And you can get spending insights across all of your bank accounts. I do have to say we launched it, but we're currently rolling it out across all core markets, so Ireland is coming soon.
It was recently announced also that bunq will be increasing its global workforce by 70%, but how many of these jobs will be located here in Ireland?
So we're hiring locally across all of our core markets, and Ireland is one of them. So we're planning to bring at least 20 new team members by the end of the year. And looking from, at that point, we will evaluate and see if we need more. Because we really need boots on the ground, right? Like the example that I just gave you about truly catering to local needs. And we're constantly gathering feedback from our Irish users, which is amazing, but it's also good to have people on the ground. So we're currently hiring around 20 new team members, mainly across commercial roles like PR, marketing, etc. And so if anyone is listening and is looking for a great challenge, you can always go to bunq.com/jobs to apply.
And in terms of the Irish market, how do you see that changing over the next 5 years?
Well, what we see happening now, if I look at the Irish market, there is a need for products that really tailor to their specific needs. So what I said, we focus on digital nomads, people living an international lifestyle. And what you see happening in Ireland specifically, apart from Dublin, for example, that's a tech and expert hub drawing in many digital nomads, there's also a more, in the daily reality, there's also a need for travel and making life easy around that. So, for example, I believe around 30,000 people commute daily from Ireland to Northern Ireland, whether that's for work, to manage the cost of living, or because they operate businesses across borders. So for many, I see that traveling or moving across borders is not always just for fun. It's part of their daily reality. So what I see happening is that there's many players out there really tailoring to those needs, and I expect it's gaining traction at the moment. So I expect that traditional banks will follow.
Bianca, finally, for anyone listening to this morning's show that's considering starting a fintech business, what advice have you got for them?
Focus on actual problems. It's very easy to always focus on theoretical problems, right? And having the perfect product for the perfect set of people. Try to look at everything as pragmatically as you can and talk to your users. Don't assume things. Let them test it. Let them go through, if you already have a specific product idea or a user journey, let people go through them and see how they experience it, see how they react to it and adapt based on that. Because it's very easy to make a perfect plan and then realize it doesn't actually solve the problem at hand.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Bianca Zwart, Chief of Staff with bunq, and it was great to get an insight into this rapidly expanding neobank.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.